last season. Their big glaring weakness was their defense, which finished at or near the bottom in the league in most statistical categories. They also hired a new defensive coordinator, and now Jerry Jones is vowing to be a big spender this offseason.
I would bet that we will spend more money in free agency than we have. I look at where we are with Dak, and I look at where he is in his career, and I look at some of the pluses that we have on our front and what we think we can do there and what we can do with Pickens and Lamb and what we can do with our running back that we just signed. And so all of those things, I want to do everything we possibly can to stop somebody and to basically win some third downs more than we did last year. And so I think that would be the area that you would see me bust the budget.
Bust the budget, says Jerry Jones, at least on the defensive side of the ball. Dan Orlovsky and Peter Schrager are joining us here now. And Schrags, what do you think? Do you believe what Jerry is saying? He's going to put his money where his mouth is?
I want to set the stage a little bit, coming just back from Indianapolis. You walk down these streets in Indianapolis, it's every team is there. They're all wearing their logos. You turn a corner, and I'm going to tell you something, nothing against Indianapolis. There's not a lot of Louis Vuitton and Giorgio Armani on the streets there in Indianapolis during February. There is a giant double-decker cruiser with the Dallas Cowboys star emblazoned on it right there on Washington Street in downtown Indianapolis, basically saying, here's our flag, we are planting it, and we're going to be letting it known to everybody that we are here. And Jerry's telling it like it is. They're going to spend. They have money to spend, and they have a need. This is a defense that was atrocious last year. They already hired a 34-year-old whiz kid defensive coordinator in Christian Parker, who comes from the Vic Fangio school in Philadelphia and just got done being the mentor and tutor to Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell there in Philly. I look at this free agency class. Jalen Phillips, Devin Lloyd, Alante Taylor, Boye Mafe, Tariq Woolen, all of those names would be names that I'm imagining that Jerry, Stephen, and Will McClay will have their eyes on. They also have the 12th and the 20th pick in a very deep defensive draft. There is a chance that Cowboys come out and day one after free agency, we're saying, wow, well, that's been unlike them the last couple of years. They've got the money, they've got the needs, and they have the desire and will with Jerry now another offseason into his career saying, that was a year that was kind of wasted last season where we didn't make the playoffs. I expect Dallas to be big players and putting up those Louis Vuitton, Giorgio Armani prices in free agency.
I don't know anything about those brands. I do. I think if you've been paying attention really since Super Bowl, I'm in the small camp that thinks that there's just another window for Dallas opening. And I think that I believe Jerry Jones's comments because the NFC is wide open, even still coming off of Seattle kind of dominating. If we just, there's a lot that can change throughout the offseason, no question. But if we're sitting here going, okay, what teams do we have high expectations for in the NFC right now that we truly believe are going to carry into August, September? I would tell you, yes, Seattle, but Seattle also can get raided. And if I was Dallas, I would raid Seattle with some of their talent. And they're going to have a new offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. The Rams, no question about it. And Chicago and Green Bay are teams that we can bank on. Other than that, Philadelphia's got some question marks. There's going to be a new offensive coordinator.
Detroit missed the playoffs.
Detroit, new offensive coordinator. Chicago, I think we can bank on them. And Minnesota doesn't necessarily have a starting quarterback right now. And so if you're Dallas and you're Jerry Jones and you know you've got a championship caliber offense, you're not as bad as your defense was last year. You're not that far away on defense. You get 2 or 3 impactful players and really on the edges of your defense and at linebacker.
Oh, God.
I think you've got a chance to contend right away. I truly do.
Before I get to the ridiculous football point that he just made, so we trying to imitate Mr. Chippendales now. We ain't got no tie on, and then on top of it all, we had some cheap looking chain dangling that you just stuck in your shirt. You know, I was trying to look at what that chain looked like. You know, what was that you was trying to rock? It certainly ain't platinum because you're too cheap.
It's a chain that I got on Father's Day years ago.
Okay, well, then it's not.
And it's, yes, a cheap chain.
My bad. It's it's not a cheap chain. It's not a cheap chain. It's from your lovely children. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. To your football point, Mr. Ridiculous, there's nobody, Peter, there's nobody like, and I've tried to tell this to Shay, they're not getting it because she wasn't here when he did it. There's nobody like Dan Orlovsky. He's one of a kind. He's absolutely, positively one of a kind, ladies and gentlemen. This is the same dude last year that sat up there and said, Dallas Cowboys are pretty good. I mean, you take away like about 8 teams and then name the 8 teams. They're pretty good. But 7 make the playoffs. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I never get over that. It's the soundbite of the year. The soundbite of the year. And now here he is, fast forwarding to the first day in March. Here this brother is right here today. Dallas Cowboys not that far away. Just 2 or 3 players. Really, that's what we're doing? That's what we're doing. Just 2 or 3 players, Peter. That's all. That's all, Peter. That's 2 or 3 players on defense. I mean, we get that. I mean, everything will change. Like, that's not a big deal. 2 or 3 players is a big deal. You understand? There's a lot of teams whose defense would be exponentially better if they got 2 or 3 players.
Well,
you act like that's nothing.
The
it's
Cowboys
a lot.
have the capital
it's a lot.
and ammunition to acquire. That's the difference between them and some other teams.
Okay. Well, now let's pay attention to that. So this cap money, cap's over about, refresh my memory, Pete, I think the cap is like over $301 million.
$301 million per last week. Yeah.
$301 million. There we go. I got it. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, in order to create some cap space, you got to restructure Dak's deal. You got to restructure CeeDee Lamb's deal. You got to restructure probably Tyler Smith's deal, along with a couple of others. This while you're franchising George Pickens, which is not necessarily the thing. Now, from a business perspective, it makes sense. From a morale perspective, think about all of that. Along with the moves that you need to make in terms of what you need to acquire to buffer your defense. Are we supposed to trust that the Dallas Cowboys are going to get all of those things in order? I don't. I'm looking, please, trust. I mean, please. And then my buddy Jerry Jones, because we all know I got love for him. I got so much love for him. I might root for the Cowboys this year because I'm sick and tired. It's been 30 years. I've been right every year. It's been 30 years. I'm tired of being right. I want to be wrong. I want them to actually get to a Super Bowl. It might be nice, okay? It might be nice, all right? Especially with it being in SoFi. And you know I'll be there. But here's the deal. Jones quote, make no mistake about it. I don't have a higher priority than to go and win a Super Bowl. Peter Schrager, yes. Before you started your soliloquy on this segment, what's the first thing? Did you mention football? Did you mention the defense? Did you mention the offense?
I mentioned a nice luxury cruiser.
What's the first thing you mentioned about the Cowboys?
I mentioned a bus. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they made sure they gonna get noticed. They made sure they're gonna be conspicuous. They made sure that you're gonna see them.
Traveling a Bluebird?
But they've done nothing yet. They've done nothing yet. You see, this is what I'm talking about. So you're gonna sit up here and act like with all of these things needing to happen, that's not gonna somehow get in the way of Dallas Cowboys getting it right. I say it is.
Okay. Stephen A.
Okay, wait, hold on a second, though. But so to Stephen A's point, he has been right for a long time. The Dallas Cowboys don't historically go out and spend money, and they certainly don't do it quickly. But now if Jerry Jones is like, hey, I see the writing on the wall, I'm going to spend as much money as I possibly can, and I'm going to do it early. We're not going to go round and round with all these contracts. They tag George Pickens. They know what they're going to do with him. Like, they're going to be definitive. Would that change your mind, Stephen A? Would that change your mind in the way the Cowboys are approaching this offseason?
If they go out and they spend money to buffer that defense up, all right, and they get the right acquisitions, I'll feel a little bit differently about them. You know, I know Mrs. Jerry Jones is watching as we speak, and I am definitely a fan of hers. She's wonderful. And I certainly want her to win because I know it's been very, very difficult on her to watch her husband continue to struggle trying to get their winning ways to materialize in the postseason. Because they've won regular season games. They've been very successful during the regular season. They just don't get it done come playoff time. Maybe something will change, but there's too many maneuvers that have to take place in order for us to feel confident about the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not confident that they're going to be able to pull that off, y'all. I'm just not.
Yeah, I would tell you that if you just paid attention to this organization over the last half a dozen years, they've actually been a good organization. They missed on the Micah situation. There's no question about it. They have 5% of their money allocated right now is in free agent signings. That tells you the job that they've done as far as acquiring players through the draft. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they draft more often than not good to very good football players. They are a piece.
No, Dan, we don't have to do that because nobody questioned that. What we've looked at the Dallas Cowboys, and repeatedly they found ways to get in their own way. When your offense is prolific, your defense is trash. When your defense is big time, you make too many mistakes. You got drama in the locker room that you don't need, etc. Now, last year, their defense nosedived, dead last in scoring, dead last in passing yards, dead last on third downs. Only 35 sacks without Micah Parsons, which ranked 22nd in the league. All right, only 12 takeaways, which ranked 30th in the league out of 32 teams. We see that. That was definitely glaring, but it was still an aberration. For the most part, Dallas wins during the regular season, but pressure breaks pipes. And when you sit up there and you put yourself in a position where others got to answer the call and they ain't ready, when the moment arrives, that's what we've been able to look at the Cowboys. Remember, they won 12, 13 games 3 years in a row, okay? Back to back. Mike McCarthy has some successful regular seasons. How did that materialize in the postseason? Wade Phillips had a couple of successful regular seasons. How did that materialize in the postseason? Jason Garrett had back-to-back 8-8 seasons before they went to 17 games. And then this dude loses the last game of the regular season, not once, not twice, but 3 consecutive years. And all 3 different teams within the division, in the Eagles, the Commanders, who the Redskins, and of course the New York Giants. You can't make this stuff up. Somehow, some way, they get in their own way. You're talking strictly football in terms of cap space, in terms of personnel that they're going to go out and get. We've looked at the Dallas Cowboys on occasions in the past and said, yo, this is a Super Bowl caliber roster. And they went home in the wild card game. This is what they do. And Dan Orlovsky is not bringing that up. And I don't know why. Elvis, I don't know why.
I would say this. In the last 12 months, they have made some very difficult decisions that other teams might have just said, we'll deal with it, we'll figure it out. They didn't pay Micah Parsons. They traded him. True. Everyone critiqued it and ripped it, but they thought that was the right thing to do. They cut Trayvon Diggs, a all-pro on defense, and they fired Matt Eberflus, a coach who's got a good defensive history.